All right, when we have to write an equation for a line that passes through 2 points, there's two things we need to write any equation. Because when we look at the kind of the standard form of an equation, we're thinking of it as y equals mx plus b, where m represents our slope and b is our y-intercept. So we need those two pieces of information so we can put them into the correct spot in our equation. So to find the slope of these 2 points, remember that slope is simply the change in y compared to the change in x. So when we look at my points, I'm looking at my y values, and it changed up 18. So my change in y is a positive 18. And when I look at how my x values changed, it went up 6. So I end up with a slope of 18 over 6, which simplifies to 3. So when we look at our equation, I can erase the m and put in the number for the slope. So I would replace that with a 3. So right now my equation is y equals 3x plus something, okay? We just need to figure out what that something is. So if I think about what I have, this is kind of what we are thinking about. I'm going to take one of the points from the equation and I am going to substitute it into this equation. So instead of y, I'm going to take the y value from my ordered pair, which is 1. And instead of x, I'm going to take the x value from my ordered pair, which is 2. And we don't know what the y-intercept is yet. But from this equation, I know 1 equals 6 plus something. So if I were just to leave this without a y-intercept, I would just have an equation that says 1 equals 6, and that's not true. So that equation isn't done yet. We need an adjuster at the end of our equation, which is our y-intercept. So when we think about what that question mark is, we would have to say, well, I know that 6 plus a negative 5, or 6 minus 5, is what would make the equation balance with a 1. So this minus 5 or negative 5 is our y-intercept. So we would go back into this equation and we would erase or replace that b with negative 5. So we can go back in here and say the b is not unknown, it's a negative 5. So our final answer would be y equals 3x minus 5, and that would be our equation. You can always check it with the other point in the problem. So this 8, 19, we could check to make sure this equation works for that point as well. So we would replace the y with 19. We would replace the x with 8. And then we're going to check that minus 5 works. So 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 minus 5 is 19. So yes, in fact, this equation does work for both points. So it proves that this is the equation for the line that passes through these 2 particular points.